Really cool thing. On Fridays, I do trade reviews. That's what today is, Friday. Therefore, I chose a trade review from out there on the real life trading community to talk about, discuss, analyze, break down, and segment about what we could have done good, better, great, bad, and all in between. Hope you enjoy this trade review. Hey traders from around the world. Oh my goodness, it is Friday and we're talking trade reviews. Every single Friday, I like to do a trade review where I just look at some trades that a trader in the real life trading community placed and just talk about it. So anyway, let's go do that right now. Gonna pop over to one of my coaching students, Chris Davidson, who I'm just a big fan of this guy in general and love all of his work. So Chris, let's go review some of your trades. Here is trade number one for Chris, and he played Micron Technology, ticker symbol MU. And first things first, I'm the realist. So let's go look at Micron for Chris. We have, first and foremost, the interesting thing on Micron is you had a pretty bearish day yesterday, really nice gap yesterday. And on MU, it was coming down into a good support zone. A lot of traders I know are actually selling some puts on Micron around 42 for September timeframe because they would love to own some shares of Micron at 42. And in fact, I would continue to keep your eyes on this particular stock coming into next week because you have a high wave candle. We're really at a decent support level. As you can see, you've been trading sideways for a while. So we're at a decent support level. If we gap up or something on Monday, it could be a really nice one to play. So anyway, keep your eyes on that one. And here's how Chris played it. So initially he had the pre-market low, pre-market high. You got the breakout early in the morning with tons and tons of good volume. High wave candle. This was a pennant pattern. Boom, he takes the breakout and had a really far away stop. So stop was at 48.05, got triggered in, waited like a good hour and a half, increased the stop, and got stopped out. Phenomenal trade, incredible risk mitigation. One of those that could have easily worked and trade right up into some targets and just simply didn't. So you know what? That is totally fine, Chris. Great try. Amazing work. Let's go look at how I would have traded and see if I would have done anything different. I think as of right now, the answer is no, but let's go see. 5-minute chart on Micron. Yep, again, bull candle. There's the breakout. You do at that point have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white candles in a row. So I might have done a limit buy rather than take the breakout, which might have saved me a few pennies. Let's see. I think I would have done most likely halfway into this candle. So 49.03 would have been my limit buy on Micron. You got in at 49.05. So literally a 2-penny difference. But again, I would have taken the limit buy just because at that point, again, 1, 2, 3, 4 bull candles in a row. This is the 5th one. So on the 5th one, I'd just expect a pullback. And the exact same thing would have happened to me that happened to you. So great try on Micron. All right, let's go look at the second trade. And the second trade is Square. And what's interesting on Square is I was actually a little bit more bearish on Square today. And wanted some selling to come in, and that's exactly what Chris did. Is he let some selling come in before he played it in any particular direction. So you can see good volume came in. We made a new high, trapped some overzealous bulls. We had a really big rundown, and you saw this hammer. So Chris notices perfect hammer on the 5-minute chart about an hour after market open, waits for one more candle, which was a high wave indecision, and says, okay, this to me looks like a good entry, let me play it. So he plays the entry above that high wave candle, trades up almost into the VWAP. That's probably where I would have taken my first target, is actually that moving average that you're using right here. And instead of 20%, it probably would have been 10%. And here's why. The trade was working immediately, right? You got triggered in perfectly right here, and it just started immediately running up and almost hitting your target. So for me, again, I'm not saying this is the right way, I'm just saying this is how I would have done it, would have exited 10% at the VWAP or whatever moving average this is. And then I would have increased my stop loss once that had happened, pretty much exactly where you have it. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4 white candles in a row. Depending on how I was doing for the day, probably would exit some or most there around 1R, which is pretty much what you did. And let's go see how Square turned out. So ticker symbol SQ. The reason I mentioned earlier that I was just a little bit more bearish than bullish is just because of how far Square has been running up. And again, you got a white candle gapping up, which is a retest gap. You had a nice gap up yesterday, and then we were gapping down this morning. So anyone who bought yesterday was just a little bit trapped on Square. Plus, it needs some type of pullback and some type of rest anyway. So again, one of those situations where I would have just been a little bit more on the bear-friendly side to just expect some sort of selling. So if we do come back into the 5-minute chart, we can see that the way Chris played it is pretty much perfect. With that's as high as it went, that candle right there at 1R. 4 white candles in a row, really good signal that some people are gonna be locking in profit. They did, and Square really rolled over nicely. So good job, Chris, being able to play it bullish. Once it took out this candle here with that lower shadow and taking out also this bullish candle there, if I can draw a line, kind of put that line right about there. Once it took out that support, there was nothing really stopping it until at least back down to here, in my opinion. So I might have even gone short with a break below this candle on this day, on this candle right here at 10:20. And yeah, I think that's how I would have played it. Just really nice hammer, inside candle, bull candle, bloop. Tried a little bit of a double top right there, potential short. And if you're not shorting there, maybe on this breakdown you're playing short. Just because, again, Square needs some selling. You have such a glorious bullish trend. Phenomenal all-time high play on Square. If we go back over here to the daily chart and just look at it, all-time highs. And white candle gapping up into all-time highs, so you're just getting some selling. So anyway, great trade. A little bit of a high wave candle on Square, and again, nice lower shadow. So keep your eyes on Square on Monday for a potential gap up. That one could be one to play bullish on a gap up on Monday. All right, and then his next trade was Micron, and looks like he played Micron bearish, and Chris plays Micron bearish pretty often and pretty well, in my opinion. And this is a trade that he played later. You can see once it kind of broke down this really strong bullish candle here. So remember, he played Micron earlier today, lost on it, and said, well, looks like if we're not going to go higher, how am I going to play it? So we end up breaking down below this really strong support. There's the strong volume. We closed below that volume. Chris got in potentially on the breakout. So let's go see. I would have generally, I'd just like to do retests on everything bearish, at least these days. But here's the 5-minute chart on Micron. There's the close below the support that Chris is playing right there. So close below, probably somewhere right around this general vicinity. Let's go see when he gets triggered in bearish. So he gets triggered in at 9 o'clock Pacific. So that is 11 o'clock my time. So 11 right here. So yep, so getting triggered in on that breakdown. It did end up retesting. Really nice rollover. Great job being patient, Chris. Had to stop pretty comfortably far away. So relatively large. And again, I mean, very small chance that it was going to get up there. But hey, awesome job having a comfortable risk. At that point in time, though, later in the day with more information, your target is probably at least this low. But again, down around the pre-market low is also a very strong possibility that's going to get down there. So I don't think I would have had my stop that high. Again, with your moving averages where they are, with the this orange line, where this orange line is, probably another moving average on a bigger time frame, you most likely could have had your stop probably here, 49.20 at the absolute highest, in my opinion. And then, as you mentioned, lower it to about 49.05 on your second lowery. Phenomenal job taking a partial at the pre-market low. It's a really good partial. And again, at that particular point in time, with very similar to how you did on Square, Chris, you had 1, 2, 3, 4 bearish candles in a row. So since you have 4 bearish candles in a row trading into pre-market low on a stock that's been relatively bullish to sideways, probably would have just exited all right there. And with that stop being a little bit lower next time, since you had lost on the trade previously, your goal was to make more than you lost on that trade. So you probably would have wanted to have a stop that gave you a risk reward into this pre-market low that would have allowed you to make more than you lost on the previous trade. And I think you did, or got very close to making more on it. But again, for me, with my entry, if I would have had an entry exact where you did, my stop would have been about 49.20 at the absolute highest. Again, maybe around 49.07. And then I could have lowered it to 48.5. And that risk reward would have absolutely put me right at an R at the pre-market low, would have exited everything there and would have taken the W. But you did take the W on the day, Chris. So congratulations. Here is Chris's stats. And I love how we have an amazing group of traders that are posting just some wonderful, wonderful updates pretty much every single day. So look at all these really good updates. So here's Chris, lost 3 R's, sorry, 0.3 R's on Micron long, made 0.75 R's on square long, and then around midday flipped on MU and made 0.29 R's back. Not a bad day considering 0.74 R's on the day, plus 2.38 R's on August. Great job, Chris. And yes, so it looks like I was right, 0.3 R's on MU, and then you made 0.29 back. Great job getting most of it back. But again, between those two trades, if your stop was just a little bit more conservative, a little bit lower, you would have actually made more, especially exiting all of it at that pre-market low. Same exact principle you took on Square. Square was 4 white candles in a row and you exited everything. Micron could have done the exact same thing. Either way, man, great trade, awesome work. Thank you so much, team, for being a part of Real Life Trading. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Having a blast, loving life, enriching lives. You are amazing. If you get a chance, make sure you pop over to reallifetrading.com and click on the live class tab. If you want to learn options, I do have an options intro program coming up on August 17th. That is right around the corner. Thanks so much for being here, folks. You are incredible. And until next time, love life, live life, and trade it. Bye. Okay, that was your Friday trade review. Thank you for watching. You are a majestically marvelous human being. I'll see you later. Bye.